In today's tutorial, I'll be showing you how to cut and sew a trendy side-ruched bubu kaftan dress with a snatched waist and inner belt. It is stylish, comfortable, and perfect for any occasion. So if this is something you're interested in, then keep watching. Hello beautiful people, welcome back to Easy Sewing with Taic, your go-to space for stylish, simple, and beginner-friendly sewing tutorials. To my amazing subscribers, thank you for always being here. Your support means the world to me. And if you're new here, I am Taiwo, and I'm so glad that you stopped by. And I promise that you'd love it here. So grab your fabric, your sewing tools, and let's get right into it. I have 2 years of Duchess fabric here, and I'm gonna have to fold it into four. So I folded it into two lengthwise, then I folded it into two breadthwise. So lengthwise I have 35 inches and breadthwise I have 29 inches because the full length of this Duchess is 58. It was not up to 60 inches. So when I folded it into two, I have 29 inches. So I have 35 by 29. Moving on, follow the pictorial illustration on your screen to take your kimono length measurement, that is from the back of the neck or the center of the neckline all the way to where you want the sleeve length to end. Or you can do this, divide your shoulder measurement into two. In my case, I have 16. 16 divided by 2 is 8 inches. Then add the sleeve length measurement. In this case, the sleeve length is 20. So 20 plus 8, that's 28, plus 1 inch folding allowance, that's 29. The exact 29 inches that I have there. This area that I'm touching is on fold, and I'll leave it that way, so the shoulder of this dress will not have a joining. There will be no joining at the shoulder. All right, now moving on to the neckline measurement. So I'm working with 3.5 by 1.5 inches for the back neck measurement. So the dimension, the width is 3.5 inches on fold, while the depth is 1.5 inches, and I went ahead to give it a curve. While for the front neckline measurement, I'm working with 3.5 inches by 3.5 inches. That is, the depth is 3.5 inches and the width on fold is 3.5 inches. After which I went ahead to give it a curve as well. So the front neckline has a slit, and the length of that slit is 4 inches. I'm just going to mark it. I won't be cutting it out yet. All right, moving on to the sleeve part of this outfit, the sleeve opening area. So if what you are hoping to achieve is something like what you can see on the screen, then you just want to go ahead and measure out your sleeve opening. If you want the sleeve opening to be small this way, then you can go ahead and measure 4 inches or 5 inches. But if you want it to be wide open this way, you can go ahead and measure 9 inches or 10 inches. Then from that sleeve opening measurement, you just want to sew it all the way down. Doing this means you are going to maximize all the wideness of the fabric, but that is not what I want. I want the body of this dress to be a bit slimmer, and so this is how I'm going to go about mine. I went ahead to determine the sleeve opening. I want it to be a bit wide, so 18 inches is fine. So 18 divided by 2 is 9 inches. I went ahead to mark it, after which I added 1 inch joining, 1 inch sewing allowance rather. So afterwards, I went ahead to mark that same measurement that way, so I can extend the line inwards this way. Then starting from that sleeve opening line, I came in by 7 inches. That is, I am reducing the wideness of this top by 7 inches. After which I went ahead to add 1 inch allowance for the sewing, and the next thing I did was to just give it a curve this way, connecting the two lines together like this. Afterwards, I went ahead to cut it out. I also went ahead to cut out the back neckline but I won't be cutting out the front neckline just yet. I have to open this up, all right, in order to cut out the front neckline. But before I do that, I have to mark out or chalk out where I'm going to attach the belt for the inner belt and the snatched waist that we have going on this fabric. Right, because this fabric is a bit slippery, so it's just better to mark it while it is still on the cutting table this way. So I came down to the half length, 1 inch above the half length rather. Then I marked out 6.5 inches. This is for a waist 30. So if you are working with a bigger waist, you might want to increase it. So I'm going to mark this exact same measurement at the other side. All right, so I'm gonna have to open it up this way so that I can just cut out the front neckline only. Just like I marked out where I'm going to be attaching the belt, I want to mark out where we are going to have that ruched effect going on, where I'm going to attach the casing. Okay, because it's just better to do it now. Now you want to work with your bust span measurement. You can use your exact bust span measurement or add 1 inches to it. So I added 1 inches to this person's bust span measurement and I measured it from the center. That is, I divided it into two. For example, if your bust span measurement is 8, you want to 8 divided by 2 is 4, 4 plus 1 is 5. So measure out 5 inches from the center, and the start point of that ruched effect is the waist line exactly. So I have my cutout here, I have the belt, I have what I'm going to use for the casing, then I have what I'm going to sew into the ropes, and that is all for the cutting. Now, if you have made it this far, you are doing great. Well done. Comment halfway through so I know you are still here with me, and give this video a thumbs up. Now, let's get right back in the tutorial. Now, this is the center of the front where we are going to have that slit. So I made it more pronounced with the iron. So, and this is what I'm going to use as my facing. I'm gonna add to interface it because of the type of fabric that I'm working with, and I've already marked out the center, and I'm just going to sew it using 1/4 inch all the way to a depth of 4 inches. Now you want to make sure that that facing comes up a bit. You will see the reason for that as we progress in the sewing. Then just go ahead and sew a V shape this way. So you want to be mindful of the inches you are using to sew this. If you use half inch, that means you are going to have a space as wide as 1 inches. So I use 1/4, and that is why I have this small space. So this is the reason why I said you should come up a bit when you are placing your facing, so that you'll be able to trim it off according to the U-shaped neckline. Then I went ahead to notch what I just sewed. You want to make sure that you notch it as close as possible to that V point. And afterwards, I went ahead to finish the rest of the neckline with a bias from the same fabric. So I placed the right side of the bias cutout on the right side of the neckline this way, and I went ahead to sew it by 1/2 inch, no, 1/4 inch rather. Just follow through with what you can see on the screen and you would get it. Afterwards, I make sure that I notched it all around. I was patient enough. Then I went ahead to turn it inside out this way, and with the help of my pin, I make sure that I brought out all the edges, okay, to achieve a neat finish. Afterwards, I went ahead to fold over the bias that way so that I can finish off the neckline. It's quite simple and easy. Again, just follow through with what you can see me do on the screen and you would get. Now, don't forget to subscribe if you are new here or if you have just been watching my videos all this while and you've not joined the community, so you don't miss out on any of our fun sewing tutorials. Also put on your notification button. Thank you. So I also went ahead to stitch down that V-shaped part, that slit. Now this is optional, right? And this is what I have. You can see how beautiful the neckline is. Moving on, I went ahead to fold it at the hemline using a 0.8 to 1 inch. It is important that we do this folding first before creating the casing for the ruched effect. You get to see why as we progress in the class. And this is what I have when I was done hemming the bottom of the dress. Afterwards, I went ahead to hem the sleeve opening as well. I folded that using 1 inch also. And this is what I have when I was done with the sleeve opening. Moving on, to fix the elastic casing, I have this piece of fabric that is 1.5 inches wide, that is 1 inch wide, sorry. So I folded the upper part. You can sew it, but I decided to fold it, and I will be sewing along the center of that fabric, and I will make sure that it aligns with the line that I marked out, the 5 inches line that I marked out earlier on the cutting table. So I'm just going to sew it starting from the waistline that I've indicated as well, all the way to the hem of the dress, alright. And to finish it, I make sure that I folded it inwards as well, just like the way that I started it, in order to create that opening where the rope is going to pass through. And this is how it looks on the right side of the dress. So bear in mind that this casing can also be on the right side, but I prefer it to be on the inside of this dress. Also bear in mind that whatever space that you are locating for your casing is wider than the rope that you are going to make. So you have to make your rope to be very tiny for this 1/2 inch casing to work. So all I did was just to stitch it down at the sides, because the sides were already neatly pre-folded, and that was it. When I was done with this side, I repeated the same process for the second side in order to secure the casing and make sure that the rope does not pull out. And when you are done, before you pass in the rope, you want to double check and make sure that there's actually an opening. So this is the reason why it is important that you hem the dress first before creating this casing. And this is what it looks like on the right side. You can see how neat it is. The next thing to do now is to pass the already sewn rope into this casing using your safety pin or whichever method works for you. And when you have successfully passed the rope, you want to make sure that you stitch it down at the upper part that way. Then you want to test it by tugging at it this way to make sure that it is secured and it doesn't pull off later in the future. Afterwards, I went ahead to attach the belt this way. So attach the belt, make sure that the longer part of the belt is facing outwards and not inwards, alright? And this is what we have so far. Now the final thing we'll be doing on this dress is to fold it this way from the sleeve opening and join it together at the side using 1 inch, because that was the allowance that I added. If yours is more than that, then by all means just make sure that you joined it together at the sides. And that's it, your beautiful ruched dress is ready. I hope you enjoyed sewing along with me today. If you did, please give this video a like, share it with your friends, and subscribe for more beginner friendly sewing tutorials. Remember, sewing is a journey. Take it one stitch at a time and you'll be amazed at what you can create. See you in the next tutorial. Bye.